And it's crazy because I honestly thought that I didn't have to explain the value of my existence to so many people. I thought that I didn't have to explain why Black people are upset. I thought that I didn't have to explain how it's never been the same for us. I thought I didn't have to tell people that they will never understand how they are different from us. What a lot of people don't know, because I don't go around broadcasting this information, really like my real friends know, obviously, but I guess if you're my acquaintance you probably wouldn't necessarily know this, but my father, a Black male in America, was a police officer for 17 years. So I don't need anyone telling me that police officers aren't evil. No shit. People need to understand that the anger is what the entire structure and system of what police officers stand for and what the history stands for and who they have protecting them. I frankly do not care at all if you have a cousin, an uncle, a dad, a boyfriend, a fiance that's a police officer that's never done anything wrong, would never hurt a fly. That's not what this conversation is about. I don't know where to begin or end this conversation because it's an ongoing conversation for our entire country, for our entire legal system. So what's important right now to me, and what should be important right now to everyone, which I thought it was, but I guess it's been made clear that it's not, that's a small spot, is that we have a bigger problem than anyone wanted to admit. This is no surprise to me. This is no surprise to my Black friends and my Black family members and my Black communities. We're not the ones shocked. It's everyone else that seems to somehow magically be shocked, even though we've been screaming this from the rooftops for years. There are lots of influencers that aren't saying anything. They might like post a little quick something on their story, but they go back to posting pics from vacation or bikini pics or selfies, or let me throw up this monetized YouTube video real quick. That's not important right now. I mean, sure, if you need to post a YouTube video to pay your bills because that's your full-time job, but that's not the time to be posting your sponsorship ads and try to sell me a bikini and tell me to drink flat tummy tea. Now's not the time for that. I have a handful of Black friends that have not posted or said a single thing, and that it makes me sad because I feel like had this been maybe like 10 years ago, I probably also wouldn't say anything. I probably would say like, oh, you know, like, people that really know me, they know that like I'm Black and they know that I care about Black issues. Like, I don't need to actually say it out loud. I don't need to post it on my page. I don't want to like ruffle my other friends' feathers, or I don't want to be that super political person, or I don't want to be that angry Black girl online. And I think a lot of it's male and female, but a lot of the girls that I am friends with that are Black girls that I grew up with that aren't saying anything, part of me wonders, is it because they don't want to be that like angry, annoying girl that's like shoving it down people's throats? But guess what? It needs to be shoved down people's throats. You know, it does. You can try to do that all you want and try to walk the line and straddle the fence all you want, but if you were to walk outside, people are looking at you as a Black person just like they're looking at me, just like they're looking at George Floyd. They don't see you any differently. And for those other people out there that need to unplug from social media the way that I've needed to unplug from social media, I get it. I've been glued to my phone. I'm on Instagram more than I've ever been in my entire life because I want to read every single post. I'm clicking people's stories that I've never watched their stories before. I'm watching their stories. I'm seeing every single thing they post, and I'm like reading into it, and I'm really like tapped all the way in. But it is emotionally exhausting. It is mentally exhausting. So I have to just unplug and put my phone down, you know, and do something productive, do something rejuvenating and refreshing from time to time. And there are a lot of us like myself that are working from home right now. I couldn't sit in my desk in my apartment and work for 6 hours straight and not think about this. I can't sit on a Zoom conference call and smile in my colleagues' faces and act like I'm not hurting, like I don't like I don't want to be somewhere else right now. Like I'm not preoccupied. Like I don't want to be outside protesting right now. Like I don't want to do and say something besides being here on this seemingly pointless phone call about seemingly pointless obligations right now. So I'm with everyone out there that's still trying to conduct their day-to-day life. You still got to pay your bills. You still have to report to work. You still have kids to feed and a routine to stick to some extent. It's hard. It's taxing. Being black is not going away. Racism is not going away overnight. These laws and bills and these charges are not going to come overnight. Okay, so for a minute I just stopped my video. Not a minute, actually 30 minutes. This guy came and parked his car next to me and was clearly in the parking lot for no reason. Wasn't picking up any food, wasn't eating any food, wasn't on his lunch break, wasn't talking on the phone, wasn't watching a YouTube video in his car, wasn't reading a book. Just parked his car next to me and sat there for 30 whole minutes. So what I believe I was saying was that there are people that are saying like, oh, well, I have a black son, so I care about Black Lives Matter, I care about young black men, I care about black men in general. But I'm just saying, don't let that be your excuse. Like, you don't need that to be your reason. You just care about black people. It's not, I get that like a lot of these people that are being killed are black men, black young men, black men of all ages really. But it's not just about black men, it's about black girls, black women, black trans men. It's about all black beings, not just black men. And there was that Will Smith quote that was like surfacing on social media in the very beginning of the week, where it's like, racism isn't getting worse, racism is being filmed, I believe is what it says. Which true, but also I do think it's getting worse because we have a president and multiple political figures and elected officials that are making it okay to have racist beliefs and promoting racist beliefs and white supremacy and all kinds of things, and are saying it's okay and letting it be the norm in our country, in our societies. So I do think it definitely hasn't gotten any better. It probably, in my opinion, it has gotten worse, but then again, yes, social media and camera phones and live streaming has made it even more prevalent and more in our face 24/7. And there's also many fashion companies and brands that are not saying anything at all. If you guys don't know, this isn't fashion, but I wrote my very first paid article for a website just a few weeks ago, and I don't follow them on Instagram just because I don't follow them on my personal page. But I was curious to see if they would post something, so I was checking their feed and their stories, and for a long time they weren't posting or saying anything. And it wasn't until I believe maybe like Wednesday, maybe like Thursday or Friday, that I saw that they finally posted something about the issue. So that was honestly, I feel like that was, maybe they were taking their time to construct a statement, but I feel like there's no excuse. It's been a week. If you haven't posted or said anything or acknowledged it or lended a hand and said, I stand with you by this point, then there's no excuse for waiting this long. There's a laundry list of cosmetic brands that haven't said anything. Hollister got called out for posting a photo of one of their black male models, like in some beach gear, some swimsuit on the beach, with nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, just like another like happy like buy our swimsuits post. And he went on his IGTV and he explained, hey, I'm a model that worked with Hollister, and they used my photo and didn't even acknowledge Black Lives Matter at all. And then it wasn't until maybe like 2 hours ago, one post on their feed and one post on their story saying something about it, but you could see that the post had just been made like in the last like 20 minutes. And that post that he posted, that they posted of him, of that model using his photo, they took it down because he asked his agent to take it down because he was offended, rightfully so. There's just so much. I can go on forever. There's plenty of women out there that love to date black men, love to fetishize black men, love having sex with black men, but won't stand up for black men or say anything to or about or for black men. I mean, I have 3 black brothers, a black father, many cousins, many just male friends in general that are black, that I've heard their stories. I've witnessed their stories. I've been with my guy friends when we go into the store and they're followed, or we're followed. I've been followed on my own as well as a woman. So again, it's not just a black man issue, it's a black person issue. I've been followed, I've been questioned, I've been stopped at a gas station before, and treated like a criminal because of my race, very clearly because of my race. I had a black friend that was accused of resisting arrest because his hands were clamped in the handcuffs and he had a physical reaction to his arm being snapped. There's all kinds of stories. This isn't anything new, and that's the thing. For any of my people that are watching that aren't currently tapped in to what's going on, either on social media or the news or whatever, if you're uncomfortable, so what? I mean, we're all uncomfortable. I've been uncomfortable my whole life. Us as black people have been uncomfortable our whole lives. I mean, we picked up steam multiple times before. We had Ferguson, we had Eric Gardner, we had Philando. His case picked up steam as well. So it's like we pick up steam, and then we get promised these little breadcrumbs, and then it gets stuck under the rug again. But this time we're saying we're not sleeping under the rug anymore. Like, we're ripping out the rug from under your feet. Actually, there's not going to be a rug to sweep anything under anymore, because this is going to be the end of it. So I don't think why it picked up steam really matters. The fact is that it did. If it wouldn't have been him, it would have been someone else 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, whatever. So let's just take it for what it is and grind this thing out, because this is only the beginning. And I say that as someone who, my father, who is a black male in America, was a law enforcement officer, was a police officer for very many years. It just, I say it to say that it lends to my experience. And I couldn't be further from biased, because I have a father that was a police officer, and he'll tell you many of the same things that I'm telling you. In regards to the concern that there are people of other minorities that are not black that either feel like it's not their problem, or that it's not their fight to fight, or even that it is their fight to fight, but they get to choose how and when they do choose to fight that fight for us or with us, that I just have to say is BS. I've seen many people of non-black minorities that have been doing an amazing job checking their own privilege, or even just saying like, hey, right now this isn't about me, it's about you, which I think is something that needs to be done, and it needs to continue, you know. And like, I know like now a lot of people are kind of like judging their friends off social media, saying if you don't post, you're not my friend. If I don't see you not complaining about the looting but complaining about the murder, then you're not my friend. And to that, I'm kind of there at that point in my life. I've never been one to say like, oh, keep politics out of it, or like, oh, like I can be friends with this person even though they voted for so and so, or even though they think this and this. But is that person really your friend if they don't value your life? Is that person really your friend if they don't want you to have like the same rights that they have, the same advantages that they exploit day by day? Everybody stay safe out there.